Welcome to the $100 Challenge series, where we'll determine just how far $100 will go in today's retro gaming market. The first system we'll take a look at is the first one I ever played, the Nintendo Entertainment System. I'll be attempting to make the best gaming library for this system with just $100, using US market prices from the site linked in the description. So without further ado, I have to start out with my favorite NES game of all time first, Super Mario Bros. 3. Coming in at $17.35, this is a game I still revisit yearly, almost a quarter century after it came out. If for some reason every copy ever made of the entire legendary NES library was on a boat that was sinking, and each game was drowning and I could only save one, catch me playing Mario 3 on the shore of an abandoned island when I should probably be looking for food and shelter. Whether I'm just warp whistling straight to World 8, or taking my time to uncover every secret, Mario 3 makes this list at just about any cost. Another game that's aged impeccably in my opinion, this is a subjective list after all, is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! It's a game that takes considerable mastery to beat, but can also be enjoyed at a novice level just as easily. And at only $14.73, it's gotta make the list. While price and quality don't necessarily correspond one-to-one when talking about games from all the way back in the 80s, it's kind of remarkable in a way that this one goes for about $15, when the vast majority of sports games over the years are typically the first to sink down to $1 or $2 a pop, a side effect of their annual sequelization. Punch-Out! Had some sequels too, but it's still a one-of-a-kind game and among the best the NES has to offer. Next up is the most expensive game on the list. At $23.05, it's Mega Man 3. Hot take alert. I enjoyed the third outing just slightly more than Mega Man 2, but additionally this saves a few extra dollars, which we'll be able to stretch shortly into some more great games, as you'll see. Known for being a bit too difficult, it nonetheless captured my imagination as a kid and cemented itself as one of my very favorites of the Blue Bombers outings. It's just a beautiful, bright, colored NES game, an absolute classic. Coming in at $22.42 and worth every penny is the original Legend of Zelda. Another relatively expensive game compared to some others on the list. Let me tell you something about Zelda. It was incredible, it was expansive, it was vast and full imagination, but dear God, it was also obtuse, and if you're playing blind, this game can easily take you 30 plus hours to explore and complete. So that's less than $1 an hour if you think about it that way. Heck, I went to the arcade last week and spent $15 in 10 minutes. Look, I'm rambling a bit, but there's nothing I can say in the next 20 seconds or so that's going to possibly explain to you the magic of playing this game for the first time as a kid in the early 90s. I recommend you go in without a guide for as long as you can stand it. And then sure, when you're fed up, look up whatever you need to have a good time. Think about it, if this first game in the series wasn't as good as it was, imagine all the gaming history that we might have missed out on. Okay, now we need to get into some more budget-friendly picks, and the first of those is Double Dragon 2. A steal at only $6.10, this is the absolute perfect game to grab a friend and go and play through. Sure, it's a little janky and awkward by today's standards, the button layout certainly doesn't help with that, but it's still a bona fide classic, and what else are you gonna get for $6? Not even a Subway footlong anymore, and those things are probably only like 9 inches, let's be real. Next up is Marble Madness, coming in at a paltry $6.70. A truly creative game that's a bit of a cult classic now. If you're unfamiliar with Marble Madness for the NES, I highly recommend you check it out in whatever capacity you're able to. It's almost like an isometric 8-bit Super Monkey Ball. I've never seen someone play this game and not enjoy it. We're on a limited budget, and as far as replay value is concerned, especially with a friend, this one costs less than a month in Netflix, and you can play it all night long and won't even ask you once if you're still watching. We've got about $10 left, but I'm spending less than 7 of it to grab Star Tropics at $6.72. Now listen, for this price you're getting the loose cartridge only, and if you don't have the internet to search for info on one specific part, you'd never actually probably beat the game. So, opposite of Zelda, I think you should search up what you need here straight from the go and just love the game for what it is. An early JRPG, a love letter to the genre, and a game that deserves more love than it gets. This one costs about 20% as much as Final Fantasy 1. And it's just as good as that game, maybe even better. I'll end the list here, happy with the selection I chose. But before the video finishes, let's talk about some honorable mentions. One of my top 5 games for the NES, Contra at $34.35, is worthwhile if you're looking for a top-tier 2-player experience, but it was too tough to justify it when it's over 1/3 of the budget, even if this game is definitely 10 out of 10. Strider is only $6.95, so I really have no excuses there, except for the fact that I couldn't find it in my heart to bump anything off the list. Another one of my absolute favorite games is Kirby's Adventure, but at $28.77, it was just too much puff to squeeze in, though I fully recommend you give it a shot if you get a chance. And finally, TMNT2 the arcade game, as followers of the channel will know I fully recommend. At $16.19, it just wasn't worth bumping Marble Madness, Star Tropics, and Double Dragon 2 to squeeze it in. These lists are really tough, guys. If I missed anything, please let me know, and hopefully I'll see you in our next installment, the Super Nintendo.